one of the allegations that a lot of anti-woke channels never seem to beat with a lot of dishonest media criticism is that they tend to base their channels a lot on misinformation or clickbait, because I mean, at this point, the phrase "the rent is due" is not really wrong. Misinformation is prevalent within the gaming scene now, which is why it is a toxic waste bin, and you have channels like this that thrive on articles that really have exaggerated news, or they didn't go into detail, or they misinterpret a writer's words or a person's words to a large extent. And I'm going to show you a couple of examples here. Namely, we're going to start with Marvel Spider-Man 2 with the fact that, oh, Peter Parker is going to be replaced by Miles Morales. And this was taken with and ran with by a country mile. After Peter tells Miles Morales that, why does the city need me when it needs you? This is the exact line that was said after the fact, signaling that Peter really isn't going to retire in the long run and he's just taking a temporary break.
I don't know. This city still looks like a Spider-Man job to me.
It shows that Spider-Man, well, Miles Morales, since people like to say Miles Morales is Miles Morales, but Spider-Man is telling Peter Parker, his leader, his teacher, he's telling him he still needs him after all this time, confiding in him even after what he just said, showing that the next game still might be a Spider-Man job. And I'm pretty sure it will be, considering the villains they're setting up with Norman Osborn and Doc Ock. Moving on, we have this section of the video where I criticize Synthetic Man, and he says something about God of War that is very interesting. Let's listen in. This is God of War Ragnarok. Let's get... I don't want to continue, man. I think I want to throw in the dial.
That when we finally meet him, he's fucking worthless. Then in the next section of the game, the characters don't really know what to do, and one of the major themes of the game reveals itself being that Kratos is an overprotective father, and despite being the god of war, he doesn't want war, which actually doesn't make any sense given what we saw at the beginning of the game when Kratos refuses Odin's offering of peace. Seriously, somebody explain this. He doesn't want war, yet he refused peace. You can't...
I thought all of the stuff that the head was saying, Odin was not meant to be trusted, therefore that's why he refused? Again, another thing that doesn't make sense. Kratos is actually a retired god of war as well, therefore after he completely destroyed the Greek pantheon and he's trying to raise his new son to not go down that same road that he did, why would he instantly go back to being a god of war? Like, I don't think people understand that the entire premise of God of War 2018 and Ragnarok is for Kratos to redeem his actions, to become a protector. That's the entire point of those two stories. Moving on, we got this post from Moonlight Warrior. Amazon Fallout series already fucked. Showrunners confirmed. Live action show will push woke stories. And Moonlight Warrior's response was, y'all do know you could pick a female as the lead Fallout character, right? So in your own story, if you wanted to play as a girl and they had that option, you could do that. And does that make the Fallout series itself fucked as a retroactive premise? No, it doesn't, because those games resonate with people and they don't think about this bullshit as we go on. Like, that's why those games have gone down in history. Like, no one ever said that, no one ever thought that. It's not until the show came out that this opinion started to come to be. He's not really an anti-woke channel when you go to Oh No It's Alex, but he is a grifter channel, and sometimes grifters and anti-woke can go hand in hand in differing situations. Oh No It's Alex, the main head grifter we're talking about, was talking about the game of the year premise for his votes and just speaking about all the stuff in general. And one interesting detail was noted with the games he was trying to co-sign on. Let's listen in.
Other games have done that this year. Hi-Fi Rush, for example,
Barely played Hi-Fi Rush, only 60 minutes.
is one of those games. Hogwarts Legacy,
I have more hours in Hogwarts than him, at least about fucking 30. This is like 3 hours and a half. Like he's barely played Hogwarts Legacy despite co-signing it.
which is completely omitted. I would actually
Liza P, no achievements.
replace Resident Evil 4 Remake with Lies of P instead for Game of the Year. Hell, I'd even
Armored Core, only 65 minutes.
put Armored Core 6. Are we really gonna
Octopath Traveler 2, 22 minutes.
sit here and just completely deny the actual greatness of Octopath Traveler 2 and how good that actual game fucking is? Because the music in that game is top notch. The artwork is absolutely amazing. It's one of the best JRPGs to come out this year.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. It's one of the best JRPGs to come out this year. And you barely got past the title screen. Oh my god.
Here. Now me, I am into the Yakuza series.
I am into the Yakuza series, bro. I even have more hours played in some of these Yakuza games than he does. Like, fuck. At least I played 0 and 3 for a significant amount of time. And Kiwami as well. No achievements. None. For any of them. He barely booted up any of them or didn't even play them. So, once again, sometimes this tends to happen where someone will complain and say that a game was buried by the media, but they have no actual hours in that game and they try to co-sign and put it on a pedestal because it's not their game that's being selected at the Game Awards. And I found that logic and argument to be kind of weird at times. Of course, we all want our favorite games to be celebrated at the Game Awards, but why are you lying about it with your experience? Like, that's weird. That makes no sense. That's like, why are you doing that? It's like, oh, it's the best RPG of the year, bar none, beats out everything else that's being selected, but I have no hours, no minutes, no seconds, nothing of the sort in my whole portfolio to really even judge the game that I'm putting on a pedestal. What are you doing? What are you doing? What in fuck's name are you doing? Like, this is something I never understood, where someone will co-sign and battle to the death about this one particular game that deserves high accolades, and they haven't even touched them at all. We go further down the list of this guy saying, oh, you play as Mary Jane like more than 3 times. Like, he says 4+ times. And then you go down into the comment section of people who played the game, and they say there's only 3 Mary Jane segments in Spider-Man 2, and they're really short, and they're not fully scripted. They are kind of fun to play. It's like, I thought you play as Mary Jane like 4+ times, which is more than 3. You haven't played the game. You haven't played Spider-Man 2, dude. And then you have Melanie Mac saying this about Horizon Forbidden West after going on a tirade about this game for like a couple of minutes, and this is also very interesting, so listen in.
Now, one thing is, I actually was a huge fan of Horizon Zero Dawn. It is one of my favorite games ever. I freaking loved it, and I haven't even played Forbidden West yet. Now,
you were a big fan of Horizon Zero Dawn, but you went on this giant grift tirade, probably even before you found out this information that, again, people were getting upset that there was this optional kiss in Forbidden West. If you played the game, you would know it's optional, that you can deny the advances of the female kiss in the DLC. You were letting it show. You were letting the mask come off. That's somehow, in some time and space, I don't know how folks like you survive Mass Effect, where there was multiple romance options and you could rizz up aliens all over the place. Male shepherd, female shepherd, it didn't matter. It was all over that game. Optional choices, optional romances in a role-playing game is now ostracized to a large degree when it is female on female encounter. When I played RPGs that let you do that every singular day and night, every singular time, male and male, male and female, like all that stuff was already in games well before Horizon Forbidden West. Clearly, you either haven't been playing enough of these RPGs or you just want to find something to bitch about individually, because a lot of people, like, let's be honest, hating on PlayStation Studios is a very easy thing to do these days. Very, very easy. That's how you get engagement in the first place. Like, that's why they call it engagement farming. I know people can't stand, they absolutely despise that word, engagement farming, the rent is due, all of that stuff. But at times, it does have a lot of truth to the equation. There are people who have channels like that. They do exist. They are on the spectrum of things. And to ignore them or to say that all of their criticisms are valid, everything's fine, you know, I mean, they're entitled to all of what they say. Look, you can have an opinion and still make a bad faith argument, or an argument that makes no sense, or something that is coming up and it feels like recency when it has happened in the past. And we've seen that before with how people said, oh, well, why is The Last of Us Part 2 remaster getting a remaster? This ruins the industry. There shouldn't be a remaster that happens 3 years later after the game released, when we already seen other companies do remasters 3 years later after the fucking game released. You will see a lot of them going from PS4 to PS5. A lot of them go from PS3 to PS4. Like, do people forget that The Last of Us, the first one, the first Last of Us, the remaster of that game only came out a year after its initial launch? Like, The Last of Us came out in 2013. The Last of Us Remastered came out in 2014 for the PS4. Like, I'm just saying, it's stuff like that where it makes no sense. It makes no sense. You make no fucking sense. You are fucking stupid. You are the dumbest motherfucker in the world. You are the stupidest smooth brain motherfucker I ever seen in my entire life. If you embody any of these characteristics of the sort, you are a dumbass. And it's just the way it is. If you can't sit down and look between the lines and rediscover all the gaming stuff that happened past, present, and prior, then you are a complete moron. There's nothing more to say. There's nothing more to add on. That's what you are. And if you think I'm just being mean or whatever, I don't care. I don't give a fuck. Like, these people are rightfully stupid and they need to be called out and they need to be addressed, because if what they're saying makes no sense compared to the history of video games, then why the fuck do you jump into these conversations trying to pretend that you know everything about them, but you can't do an ounce of research whatsoever? Get the fuck out of here. Like, I feel like a Sopranos mob boss. Like, get the fuck out of here. That's how I feel. Like, take your cannoli, take your spinoli, and take it in the trash and throw yourself in the sewer along with it. We don't want you here. We don't need you. You're not needed. You provide nothing intelligent or intellectual or anything nuanced whatsoever if these are the characteristics that you embody. Renegade Operative, I'm signing off. Go fuck yourself. See ya.